You can't be a Labour leader unless you pretend your father was Geppetto, the carpenter. I mean, it's ridiculous, actually. Rishi Sunak busy telling us his parents lived in this poverty-stricken pharmacy without Sky TV. Come on, I think the truth is that for too long, politicians have taken us for fools. They think that we do care more about these identitarian issues and that we do care more about them patronising us about where they came from and where we came from. Both Sir Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak are very fortunate, wealthy men, and I have nothing to say about that being wrong. It's not wrong. Various people have different circumstances in life. What I want to know is that they're compassionate, that they're smart, that they're intelligent, that they can work for our collective good as a country. And I'm not sure either of them have really spent very much time during the campaign or the years before it convincing us that that's the case. I think instead they're both apparently very competent men who can run, whether it's a finance job and banking or whether it's the public prosecutions or whatever. There's no question that they're intelligent men, but they're not inspiring. They're not people of vision. They're not really, either of them, as far as I can see, people of great ideology. Even that Danny Finkelstein piece in the Times in which he talked about Starmer, a political opponent, so to speak, coming from the Labour Party, and he's a Conservative lord. But I don't think that it gave the impression of a man who is ideological. Some say that's good, that he has ideology, but he also tempers it with pragmatic concerns as he has arguments and conversations and realises what's in the world around him. But I would say it just means that he's often wrong in his instincts and he's changed his instincts. The very fact that he's, if we look at an issue close to my heart and I know yours, anti-Semitism, Starmer walked into the party having campaigned vigorously for Jeremy Corbyn to become the Prime Minister, despite all of the anti-Semitism that marred the party during Corbyn's leadership, and rose to the top and became very visible. He then moved in as leader, said that he would eliminate, rip out from the roots that anti-Semitism. We've of course ended up in this situation where Corbyn, the former leader, isn't running as a Labour candidate, expelled. We have others who have been kicked out as well. But then look a bit closer, because is Keir Starmer really against anti-Semitism? Is Keir Starmer really bothered by anti-Semitism? He has a wife whose father is Jewish. He has children who he says he does some Jewish rituals with in order to respect some parts of their grandfather's family. But in truth, Keir Starmer still has within his party, still has within the parliamentary party, people with extremely problematic views, which I would class as anti-Semitic, people who have views which will scare members of the Jewish community and therefore members of the wider community who don't want to see racism against Jews in the party. And I think that in that respect, it's just an example of how Keir Starmer often says one thing, but doesn't necessarily stand for it in truth and in his actions, and that's not a good position for someone who's about to take over the country with apparently a massive majority. It doesn't fill me with confidence. The thing that's remarkable about things like ChatGPT and synthesised speech and actual content is that it's quite engaging. It's more engaging than our politicians. He speaks in an animated and interesting way, he gives interesting answers, even if they're a bit woke sometimes. But in that respect, he's beating both Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer. I mean, let's face it, two of the dullest men in politics. I cannot understand how they have ended up, I won't say risen to the top of their parties, because in Rishi's case, it's kind of like what was left at the bottom. But I think that this is such a depressing situation to be in, that this is our choice between these two very, very dull, boring technocrats.